Well, I'm up here at the hospital fixing to go up there and see my brand new grandson. He was born a couple of days ago, and I have already got to see him once, but he was in NICU at the time, so I didn't get to pick him up. So today I'm gonna get to go up there and actually pick him up, get to see him. But I thought I'd tell you a real quick story. Someone told me, man, said you need to put some of your stories on video, and I thought it's not a bad idea. I've been told that I tell a good story. Now, I don't know if I do or not, really. I don't know, but one thing's for sure, I enjoy telling stories. Whether I'm good at it or not, I'll let you decide that. But I says to myself, I'm gonna have to put a story on a video. Which story would it be? Because man, I got 1,000 stories I like to tell. Two of my favorite stories involve my cousin Billy Dean. Now you know he's a cool guy because he's got two first names, right? Billy Dean. But anyway, old Billy Dean, when we were kids, one of my stories I love to tell about him is we broke into a house when we were kids, and we gutted all the studs out of it. That's a whole nother story. That's one story. And then another one is when we were kids, me and him and his uncle Bobby, who was also our age, we went down to Guadalupe River on a boat, and it involves going down that river and a horse. I'm a cowboy guy. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. But I've decided that the story I was going to tell, the first one I was going to tell, was going to be about me and Mike Driskill. Now, when me and Mike Driskill was, I'm going to say it was probably the summer of '78. So I was 17 and Driskill was 16. We were doing the same thing every other, red-blooded American boy was doing at that age, or at least most of us. We was out there sneaking beer and chasing girls and taking them to places to go parking and stuff like that. Well, at the time, there was an abandoned airport at 183 and 360 in Irving. Now, some of y'all may remember that airport, but at the time, another thing at that time, 360 didn't go north of 183. It just dead in there at 183. And to get from 183 to 360 was a real pain in the butt, man. You had to take some exits and get on some little side roads and go over, and to get over and to get from 360 to 183, whether you're going east or west, it was not a very good system. And 360 was becoming more of a traveled road at that time. So, and 183 already was, man, it was packed all the time. So they decided to build this great big exchange just from east and west 183 to go south on 360, and then if you're going north on 360, you go east or west. So all these big ramps. And at the same time, they was taking out that airport that was there. And now at that time, before they did that, there was a runway that crossed over 183, and where it crossed over, the planes would actually, go across there when they're taking off and landing. There was a tunnel on 183, and it was, at least a football field, if not 2 football field lengths long. It was, at least 1 football field, maybe 2. And it seems to me anyway. But anyway, they was doing away with that at the same time. And it took a couple of years to do it. But anyway, at that airport, kids and young adults used to take girls out there to go parking, and also you go out there drinking and go hot rod and have drag races and stuff like that. So there was this Tarrant County deputy sheriff that was always, well, I guess there was several of them, but me and Driskill both had a run-in with this one particular Tarrant County deputy sheriff like 3 or 4 times. He caught us out there drinking, and we were underage. But he didn't take us to jail. He just said, next time I catch you, I'm gonna take you to jail and all that stuff. And then a couple of times he caught us out there with some girls. The last time he caught us out there, he said, listen, he said, next time I catch you two yahoos, I'm gonna take you to jail, and then I'm gonna take them girls, I'm gonna find out where they live, and I'm gonna take them to their daddies. And you know, as soon as you get out of jail, you're gonna have to answer to them daddies. And of course, we didn't want that to happen. But we were stupid in a box of rocks. So, you know, at some point we had these 2 girls. They were from Oregon, and we had met up with them and was messing around with them, and we took them out to this place, and we didn't want to get caught by that deputy sheriff. So we decided we would go kind of hide up in some hills. Now at the time, on the north side of 183, they had all these man-made hills up there. I don't know why they had all that dirt. It had something to do with that construction thing going on, but they had all these danged old hills, and it was, people could go four-wheeling and stuff in it. And anyway, we decided to park up on top of that hill, and there was all kinds of trails up there, and I went horseback riding up there all the time, and you got people rode motorcycles up there. And now the ramp from westbound 183 to southbound 360, it was already finished at this particular night. It was already finished, but it wasn't opened yet. So those trails up on top of them hills, one of them actually connected to that ramp. You know, there was a rail, like you have rails on the side, but there was a hole in that rail where I guess construction trucks could come in and off there. So we were up there on one of those trails that one of them connected with that ramp, although that ramp was closed. It wasn't open for business yet. But anyway, we was up there, and Driskill was up front with his girl, and I was in the back seat, or I'm sorry, in the back of the pickup bed with my girl. And Driskill had a 69 Ford pickup truck. It was a step-side Ford pickup truck. And if you know them old trucks, the tailgate of them trucks had a hook on either side, had a hook that was on a chain, and you had to unhook each side of it to set the tailgate down. And then you had to hook it back up in order for it to set flat like that. And if you didn't hook them chains back up, it would lay down, you know, on the bumper like that. Well, that's the way I had that. Now listen, I'm not necessarily proud of what we were doing up there. You know, I'm 62 years old now, and I'm a Christian. And I understand that what we were doing up there was not right. But it's what we were doing. We were 16, 17 years old, and we had some young girls up there, and you know, we were doing what we were doing. Now that being said, I gotta tell you, I was back there with the girl that I was with, and we was studying Bible verses. That's what we was doing. Now I don't know what Driskill was doing up front with his girl, but me and my girl, we were in the back, and we studying Bible verses. Now I do not know why we didn't have any clothes on. I don't understand that, but that's just the way it was. Anyway, all of a sudden a bright spotlight hit us, and there was some trails down below these hills, and there was that deputy sheriff was down there on that hanged old trail down there, and he turned his spotlight. He saw us up there and turned the spotlight on, and he got on his PA, and he's like, I don't know what he said, but it's like, I told you boys next time I catch you, I'm gonna throw your butts in jail, and you know, and you guys better get down here. And I don't know what he was saying, but we didn't stick around to find out. I don't know exactly what he was saying, but it's something like that. And man, we just, all of a sudden, all 4 of us jumped out of that truck. Me and the girl I was with, we jumped out of the back of that bed, that pickup truck, and Driskill and his girl jumped out of the cab, and we was all in various states of undress, and we were all running around just every which way. And it was like that Benny Hill show with, if you ever remember Benny Hill show, they always had them old people running around, and they had that yakety yak song going doot doot doodle doot doot doodle. That's the way it was. We was all running everywhere. And all of a sudden, on cue, man, we all just jumped into the cab of the truck. It was like someone told us, hey, jump in the cab of the truck. And we was all in different states of dress, because we were out there trying to put clothes on. Now, all I had on when I jumped into that pickup truck was my cowboy hat. I had one boot and one sock on, and I don't know why, but the one boot was on one foot and the sock was on the other foot. Anyway, we jumped in the cab of that truck, all 4 of us all at once, and I landed in the driver's side, and fired that old truck up, and them old boys on Duke and the Dukes of Hazzard, man, they'd have been proud of me, because I was going all over which way through those trails, and I was jumping hills and stuff. And I always tell everybody this: if I'm fortunate enough someday, years from now, to die in bed, you know, that's the way we all want to die, is in bed. If this thought that I'm fixing to tell you about crosses my mind, no matter, even if I know I'm going to die, I'm going to smile, because it was just a magical moment. It's like a snapshot in my mind that I'll never forget this moment. But we was flying over this hill. I mean, that truck, all four wheels was off the ground at least a foot, maybe 2 foot in the air, and we was just sailing through the air. And here I was, really just butt naked just about, and I looked over to my right, and this like snapshot in time is right here. I'll never forget it. But the old girl I was with, she had her hands over her head, and because we were flying in the air, she had her hands over her head holding herself down, and she was topless, so her breast was showing. And the girl that Driskill was with, she was topless also, but I guess she was a little more modest, a little more concerned, because she had her hands cupped over, and because of that, her old head was up there. She was all squished up, and her butt was about that high off the ground or off the seat. And then Driskill was over there. He had his head like this, and he was looking at me with the most worried look in his face. It was like, slow this truck down, boy. He's gonna get us killed. But I didn't, man. I just kept on going. And somehow or other, I hit that ramp. You know, a trail went up to that ramp, and I just hit that ramp, and I just kept on going, and we lost that car. We went down, and they had barricades to where you couldn't get on 360, but I navigated my way through there, just probably knocked over a couple of them, just kept on going. And I got a few miles down the road, 360. Like I said, back then, it was late. It was like 12 o'clock at night. Hell, there wasn't nobody on that road at that time of night back in them days. So we pulled over off the side of the road, and we all got out, and we started finding our clothes and putting our clothes on. Now, you got to remember, me and the girl I was with, we were in the back of that pickup truck, and about half our clothes was gone. You know, I just lost them. And also, Driskill's tailgate was gone. So I didn't have it hooked up. I had it laying down like that. And, you know, going over them bumps and stuff, it come loose, and we lost it. And boy, he was madder than hell at me. To this very day, it still ticks him off, I think. But anyway, we took them girls. Them girls had enough clothes between the two of them to where at least they weren't topless. They had pants, you know. They were missing shoes and socks and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, we took them home, and Driskill dropped me off at the house, madder than hell at me, man. He was pissed off at me. And he went on home. Well, next morning, he come over, knocked on my door, and he said, "Man, we gotta go find my tailgate." And I was like, "Dude, there is no telling where we lost that tailgate at on top of them on that hill." I said, "But I do know where we started at. I know where that's at." So we drove up there, and he madder than all get out at me. We drove up there, and I said, "There's where we was at." You know, we went over, and it wasn't hard to find that tailgate at all, because all we had to do was follow the clothes. About 20 feet over there was a boot. About 20 feet past that was a bra. About 20 feet past that was underwear. We just kind of followed along, picking that stuff up as we went till we got to that tailgate. now here it is, man. I don't know, it's 40 something years later, and Driskill still gets pissed off when we mention that tailgate. But I think he's forgiven me. He's a good friend, and I love him. Driskill, I love you, buddy. Thanks for forgiving me for losing your tailgate that night.